Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic/non-classic. This is episode number 439 and Doubleshot number 356. Two Batman trades. First up is from Rebirth. We have Batman Volume 2, I Am Suicide, which collects Batman Volume 3 issues 9 to 15. There's actually two different stories. You have the I Am Suicide, which takes up issues 9 to 13. The last couple issues is known as Rooftops, which I'll get to that in a minute. Pretty much this storyline, I Am Suicide, is a continuation of the previous storyline of I Am Gotham, of basically Batman going down the St. Capriska to get the Psycho Pirate. But he doesn't go alone. He goes with at least 5 other people. Basically, he forms his own version of the Suicide Squad, with Albert Wesker. I think that's his name. He's the ventriloquist. Yeah. Also, Jeremiah Arkham shows up in here as well. I gotta throw him into it. I think this is his first appearance, in the Rebirth stuff. Let's see. We have. Love this awesome page of Arkham Asylum. It looks really, really good. You have Arnold Wesker. Now, there's a reference. Now, they say committed a tragedy during the war, drove surveillance. That's a hint of a later storyline. So, good job, Tom King, for setting that up. You have him. Then you have cameos by characters some who have appeared before, some who appear later on. Like there's Kite Man. He does show up in the later story. Character known as Mayo, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Calendar Man, which actually this is his first time he's appeared since Batman Rebirth. We also have Jane Doe, who was from the miniseries. I think it was Arkham Asylum: Living Hell. I believe it was. Yeah, I believe it was a series written by. I believe Grant Morrison, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And that miniseries was used as the basis for the Batman Arkham Asylum video game. And this character has a history with Aaron Cash, where she actually killed Aaron Cash's girlfriend and decided to basically skin her and pose as her. Yeah, it's really gross. We also have Bronze Tiger make his first appearance, since Rebirth. Well, post-Rebirth anyways, but this is the third time he's appeared in this universe. The first time post-Flashpoint he's appeared was the page of the Outlaws, where apparently they gave him a tiger mask for some reason. They put his tiger mask back on, and he looked like an actual tiger. And then they changed that when he appeared in Tony S. Daniels' awesome run for Deathstroke, and now he shows up here. He's got a little bit of scars in him, but I'm glad the fact that he's part of the group. And we also have Punch and Judy. Who are Punch and Judy? They are a couple characters who were created by the awesome Steve Ditko during his when he was working for Charlton Comics. They originally were enemies of Captain Atom and Nightshade. Nightshade has not reappeared since last time she appeared was before Flashpoint. But Captain Atom has. He's appeared a couple times. He appeared in the He appeared in his own series. He appeared in a few issues of Fury of Firestorm, and his most recent appearance was in the Fall and Rise of Captain Atom. Punch and Judy, this is actually their first post-Flashpoint appearance. Now, post-Crisis, they changed it where Nightshade's partner, where in pre-Crisis it was Captain Atom. Post-Crisis, they changed it to Sarge Steel, the guy who later ended up heading the Department of Metahuman Affairs, I believe it is. Yeah, I believe that's what you call it. And plus, also, he decided to throw in Catwoman, who apparently is charged with murder. Now, they also had her appear in recently in Birds of Prey. Now, as for when, and they also throw in Holliday Robinson. Yeah, making her first post-Flash appearance. Yeah, she appears in the next story, which I'll get to in a minute. I gotta love this cover. This is actually from issue 10. The cover looks like it's very much a homage to the Lost Boys movie poster. Yeah, it looks very similar to that, and it's drawn really well. Who does the cover for this thing? The cover is, let's see. The cover for this is done by Michael Janet. Yeah, this is a really good cover. Gotta praise it. Yeah. And of course, this storyline does help set up the I Am Bane storyline. My guess is the I Am Bane wasn't ready yet, so that's why they threw in Rooftops. And they go in and they break out. This is what Punch Judy looked like post Flashpoint. Yeah, it's pretty good looking look. Though they kind of used the mannerism of Punch and Judy for now post Crisis. They actually added it to Suicide Squad, which they were. I think one of them has since died. Yeah, I think one since died right after that. But yeah, the I Am Suicide, I thought was a pretty, it was okay story, but then came the story that came right after that, Rooftops, where now the deal was basically this. Now, basically in exchange, we're working with these people. Now, this storyline later basically references the Justice League versus Suicide Squad story. Now, here's what these guys get as basically part of working with him. Wesker gets moved to a progressive facility. Bronze Tiger gets released on parole. Punch and Judy will be in Arkham and visit each other once a month. And Catwoman, she goes to Blackgate and she gets life in prison. Now the Rooftop storyline, which the artist for this two-part is done, is Mitch Gerald's. It's a really good artwork. Here's a gorgeous splash page. This is really, really good. Now, they pretty much chase each other throughout this one night. And what do? They beat up C-list villains. Let's see. First, it's the Clock King. Well, one of them anyways. They say that this is the Clock King. This is actually one of 3 I've seen appear post Flashpoint. They had 2 appear. They had 1 appear. The first one they actually had appeared. They had appeared in Jeff Lemire's Green Arrow run. Though that version they reappeared from Van Percy's run for Green Arrow. You have the one that showed up in the first arc for Deathstroke, which is actually the original Clock King in his cheesy costume. And you have this guy who is the 3rd Clock King. What looks like his appearance is heavily based. It's sort of partially based upon the version that appeared. I think this could be the. I think he's based upon the 60s Batman TV show. I think that's where that version is based. We also have Magpie, Signal Man. Signal Man, first time he's appeared since Very Evil. Armand Dye, I think that's his name is. King Snake, who actually died in Robin 92. The Ten-Eyed Man, I think this is his first post-flash appearance. Gorilla Boss, an old Batman villain. I'm not sure where. Second Copperhead, because the first one got killed off during Very Evil. The Condiment King. Oh, it's like they threw in like a bunch of B-list villains. Okay, we have the Cavalier. Interesting guy. Zebra Man, Film Freak, and Mad Monk. I'm like, really? Mad Monk? Wow. The guy who's a vampire. Yeah, that's a deal with Mad Monk. He's a vampire. Yeah, Film Freak. Kite Man again. Let's see, what else? The first part ends basically with Batman and Catwoman having sex on a rooftop, which they did the same thing in the first issue of Catwoman Volume 4. They did pretty much the same thing, have sex on a rooftop. Yep. And plus, one thing I appreciate for the second part, they actually throw in panels that are recreations of Catwoman's first appearance from Batman #1 back in 1940. Look at this. This is actually it's like the artist. It's like whoever the artist. Who's the artist for this one? I think it's let's see. Yeah, it's still Mitch Gerald's. He basically recreated the classic artwork that was used for that particular issue. Yeah, and now this storyline kind of would help partially set up the issue 25 of issue 24. We also have here's Holliday Robinson in her first post-Flash appearance. And no, she did not appear in the Catwoman Volume 4 series. She was a supporting character in Catwoman Volume 3. She appeared in pretty much a majority of the issues. I've read the entire run, so I don't know that. It's a really good run. I highly recommend it. Which I believe they just finished wrapping that. They just finished collecting that run, and now they're just collecting the run for Volume 2, which is the previous volume. Yeah, but this is really good. The I Am Suicide I thought was a bit of a miscue, but rereading it, it actually is a really good story. And the Rooftop story that comes right after that, the two-parter, really good. Now this book only contains. Now some are wondering, where is 7 and 8? That's in Night of the Monster Men. That's where that is, because the first volume just collect the first 6 issues and they decided to skip 2 issues. Skipped issue 9. Unlike with New 52, they just had to throw in the issues whenever they do a crossover. My guess is DC must hear those complaints, frequent complaints, like whenever they do crossovers, they don't put the other extra parts there to get the full story. I guess they must have heard those complaints, people who do these trades. So they just skip straight over that crossover and just go straight to this, like right after that. Which, it's good. So this pretty much wraps up now pretty much this particular storyline, like with the previous one, sets up a couple different story arcs. At the end of the first arc, that set up the Night of the Monster Men and this story arc. This one set up I Am Bane and Wardrobe Survivors. Mainly a reference to it. Okay, I'm going to give this 9.5 out of 10. Really good, I highly recommend it. I'm hoping to get my hands on purchase this thing in the near future and maybe get my hands on I Am Bane. Because I Am Bane is really good. Alright, next up is the final trade that collects issues from Batman Beyond Volume, I believe this was recent volume, I believe it was Volume 5. Here's Batman Beyond Volume 3, Fire for Death, which contains issues 12 to 16, and Batman Beyond Rebirth number 1. Now, this wraps up a storyline that basically started with the previous volume, which they introduced the character Rewire, who apparently was Davis Dust. Basically, it's not really him, it's actually Terry McGinnis. And Bruce Wayne is seen here in flashbacks. Though for some reason, I have no idea why this is. Apparently, they had to have Barbara Gordon in these flashbacks. For some reason, looked like the way she did in a Batman Beyond TV show, where she looks like this. And then for some reason, they decided to give her back her red hair. I have no idea why they did it for, but they did. Yeah. So, and yeah, they even throw in old Batman villain Spellbinder, which is nice. But also, now, the writing here is done by Dan Jurgens. This is actually one of 2 books he's doing, though. I've seen an upcoming solicit. Apparently, he's going to be no longer writing this for some reason. And Bernard Cheney is going to take over the writing duties from Dan Jurgens. He's going to write and draw this. Yeah, he's the artist for this one. I don't think he's really the Cliff Chang, but it's a similar name. Yeah. But this pretty much has the last 5 issues playing before the relaunch. Now, one thing that kind of bugs me, though, yeah, the Batman Beyond series is still published. Why couldn't they continue the volume numbering? Why did they have to relaunch it, like, for Rebirth? Couldn't they just call, like, Batman Beyond Volume 4, even though technically it's the same creative team? Yeah, it's the same exact creative team, but they decided to just relaunch numbering. That's all they did with it. Though, the only theory, the reason why the DC did it last year, because Marvel loves doing it, and lucky enough they only did it once, and a lot of these titles have basically come out twice a month. Like, recently, they released, like, issue 30 or, like, 28. This book's released monthly, and Action Comics is released twice a month. I believe it's released about 12, 13 issues so far. I think so, yeah. But this actually does wrap this up, and Terry McGinnis becomes Batman again. And as for Tim Drake, who the heck knows what happens to him. But this is good. I actually kind of like this run. Because, well, Dan Jurgens throws in references to Batman Beyond TV show, which I do appreciate that. So it's kind of like they mix in Batman Beyond TV show with Future's End, which it's still going on here. But this is the only Ultimate Universe ongoing series that I can think of that's a regular printed series DC publishes, though they also publish Bombshells, Gotham City Garage, and trying to think though. Yeah, those are the only 2 I can think of basically that released digitally. But this is the only ongoing series, this regular print one, that is set in a different universe. It's not set in the regular DC universe, it's set in a possible future. Yeah, and basically, my guess is the reason why Dan Jurgens brought back Terry McGinnis, this is just my personal theory, is because people didn't like the fact that Terry died in New 52 Future's End, so he's had to bring it back basically a different version of him, but he does remember stuff. Yeah, and Chitray goes off wherever he wants to go. It's never been explained exactly where the heck he went off to. Though the theory is that he actually went back to the past. That's just my theory, anyways. But this is good. I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. Pretty good. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is gonna be 2 Suicide Squad trades. Yep, 2 Suicide Squad trades. And that next episode would be episode 440 and Doubleshot 357. Okay? But until then, I will see you there. Bye.